to the foodie finale of tonight's show. Aisling Larkin is giving us a sweet cake to close out the show. So where do we get started with our pistachio cake, Aisling?
Yes, with the pistachios. So, pistachio cake sounds a little bit unusual, but the flavour is amazing. So you know me, I talk about umami all the time and this depth of flavour. Pistachios have umami in them. So now I'm bringing it into the savoury, or the sweet as well as the savoury. Yeah. So you know you get your normal pistachio nuts, right? You need about 150 grams. You're going to shell them, which is slightly painstaking. Now let's call a spade here, right?
It's labour intensive.
It is labour intensive. It's a labour of love. And the recipe needs 150 grams. I would say the average bag is about 200 grams. So you're kind of thinking, I might get out of it. You won't. So buy yourself 2 bags because you're going to eat. You know, when you're there, there's 1 or 2 going in as you're shelling them. So cover yourself, right? Yeah. So what you do with your pistachios, and this is why I created the cake. Like, look how much they blend in with our beautiful studio. They almost represent the lovely colours. I love it. Absolutely love it. So what you do, put them in a food processor, coffee grinder, NutriBullet, blitz them down, okay? And you get this really, really smooth pistachio crumb almost, right? So I'm going to put that in. Now, little tip, sliced toast, little bit of butter, little bit of honey, sprinkle that over your toast. My God, you will never taste anything. Oh, it's this umami combination. It is outrageous, outrageous. So I'm very excited about that. That's your umami and your pistachios going in. Into that then, I am going to add some flour. I am going to add baking powder and baking soda. And then I'm going to add in, now normally with a cake like this, you would have your eggs would go in, your full eggs. So what I've done already is I've creamed my butter and my sugar. Top tip. Nobody ever creams the butter and the sugar for long enough. You have to do it. If you've got a handheld mixer, at least 8 minutes. If you've got a guy like this, 5-6 minutes. That's the secret. Guy like that. That's the secret to the light cake. Your arms. Yeah, exactly. A stand mixer is a really, really good idea. So that's going in. Then into that, what I've done is I've separated my eggs. So we're not actually going to use the egg yolk, we're going to use the egg white. So I've got 4 egg whites going in there. Then, little bit unusual, I have sour cream going in. Right. So what happens is when you use something like sour cream or buttermilk, you get this amazing tenderness. So the lactic acid tenderizes the gluten, which is the protein in the flour, keeps your crumb really light, really soft. So you don't get a heavy cake, you don't get a dry cake. So it's a really interesting way of making a cake.
The science behind it, yeah.
It's really interesting. Next up, vanilla going in, and then because pistachio has a lovely kind of nutty flavour, I'm adding a tiny drop of almond essence, 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. Do not overdo it with this or you'll overpower.
You've barely tilted the bottle, so it's just...
Drop. Like it's really easy to overpower with that. And a little secret, a tiny bit of green food colouring. Pistachio cake is meant to look green, but when you're using natural pistachios and real, you don't get that, what you'd imagine. So a little drop is a great little secret.
There, yeah.
Brilliant, really good idea.
And with your, do you use extract or essence? Does it matter when you're adding?
Yeah, it does. You want to use your extract where possible. That's the really, really good one. It doesn't have that kind of chemically aftertaste. So I'm just going to blitz this up really quickly. And it's done so fast, right? The other big mistake people make with a cake like this is when they overbeat it when the flour goes in. And when you overbeat the gluten, that's what gives you a tough cake, okay? Last ingredient, 100 ml of milk going in there. Pop that on.
So give plenty of time to the creaming of the butter and the sugar, but not so much once the flour goes in.
Flour's in, barely mix, and you're done. And there's some really good secrets to a really good cake. I'm going to borrow this spatula. I have one here. Spread it out onto your lined tin. You can do a big flat tray. You can do a tray bake. You could do this as a gorgeous like round cake. But I love the idea of a tray bake because it's just easy. Spread it out in the oven.
Easy portion control.
Exactly, and you can cut it into little squares and little slices. So spread this out, and this goes in a preheated fan oven between 160 and 180. And you want to bake it. It doesn't actually take long, about 25 minutes, and this one's going to be done. And a great top tip, if you're getting a lot of colour, I'll move that bowl in a sec. If you're getting a lot of colour on top, actually my mother-in-law gave me this top tip. Scrunch up some brown paper, damp it a little bit, and put the brown paper over the top, and it stops it burning. So just in case it is going that extra little bit brown, which you don't want. So that's going in our oven, that's going to bake, and I have ones that are already done, and I'm going to show you. Look at that new oven.
I know it's
shiny and sparkly. I appreciate a clean oven so much.
What does it? I always think your kitchen is so spotless. Like to get an oven that clean, like it's just
all good, isn't it?
Treat.
It's all good. Okay, for the icing. So butter icing, but we're doing a little variation. We're adding some cream cheese. So I've already started this, and I'm doing this part by hand. So this is butter and icing sugar, and then what we're doing is we're adding in some cream cheese. So like your, tub cream cheese.
Okay.
So the tanginess of the cream cheese goes really nicely with the kind of the buttery, sweet saltiness of the pistachios.
Could people cheat at home and buy the tub of the butter icing already done?
Yeah, they could.
If you wanted just to cut corners, okay.
Totally. And then, so all you have to do when you do that is get to this stage, which is the stage I'm going to show you next.
Gotcha.
Little drop of cassis. Totally optional. You don't have to put it in, but I do think it's quite nice. So cassis is your blackcurrant liqueur. So it's an alcohol liqueur.
Is that what's in a Cure Royale?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm more familiar with using it for that purpose.
That little drop of Prosecco.
And it's nearly the weekend, so you could be doing it too.
Celebration 1 week down.
Yeah, Cure Royale with your slice of cake would be gorgeous. Next up, I have my blackberries. So blackberry season, go out, pick the blackberries. As you can see, I have it all over my hands
Have you been foraging today?
I have. Early morning and late evening foraging. Mash up your blackberries. And we're just going to pass them through a sieve. So you don't want the seeds to go into the icing. So that's why we're passing through a sieve. So that stage is important.
We've got about 130 left.
Ideal. So just pass that through.
Yeah.
Catch all the seeds. And then that's your butter icing. Now, with a butter icing or your cream cheese icing is much softer, less stable, shall we say, okay, than a butter icing. So let's say you were transporting this cake, I would do like a butter icing as opposed to a cream cheese. But this is what it turns out like, right? So I filled my piping bag and I have one cake that's already out of the oven, turned out, and then we're going to pipe it. So I filled my piping bag.
Okay.
And we're going to pipe it, and then we're going to decorate it with a little bit of blackberry, a little bit of blueberry, and a little bit of rosemary on top. And it's beautiful, because like I said, it's the tangy of the blackberry with the tangy of the cream cheese, with the butteriness and the sweetness.
That's nearly hypnotic.
I was
Looking at her doing
to
that.
say that's hypnotic. Can we just keep the shot on that? Look at that. That is just gorgeous.
So this is a wide star tip nozzle, and people often ask about buying nozzles for piping bags. Buy yourself a good piping bag, sustainable, wash it out, use it again and again, and it's just lovely. And then blackberries,
blackberries on top,
blueberries.
and this is what we want.
Yeah, and that's what you end up
I'm
with.
going to let you do, just in case it topples, because we've heard it's unstable. Let's have a little taste.
Aisling, you're amazing. You really are. You're absolutely amazing.
Good.
Okay, and it's all to appreciate our new set and Cameron's arrival. So thank you very much.